Well, good day. Welcome to another episode of Rob Report, or not Rob Report, but the Bobby Brown Show. I'm your host, Bobby Brown, or Bob TV Brown, whatever you want to call me. Well, today I want to talk about something that's very important. It is, to me, I think is very important to talk about because we got so many hypocrites around here that it's ridiculous. Hypocrites. And I'm going to talk about one of the biggest hypocrites of them all. But we're going to get into that today, and no better time than now. Let's get into it. Standing on the top now, no nothing can move you. All right, so we're going to get into this right about now. Now today, I woke up and I saw a certain particular person calling himself deconstructing or educating or trying to knock some sense into certain demographics, whether it's white, black, whatever. It's mainly black. Here he is, a black man, by the way, he blocked me. Here he is, a black man talking down to black men, figuring he got a right to talk down to black men because he maybe got a degree, because he's probably of a boule sorority, and because he's in media. This guy figures he's the Negro whisperer, like James Clyburn. He figures that he can whip up and shake. He asks for money, so his news agency can be used to direct people in a direction or in a certain narrative that they should go based on how much you pay me. I guarantee you, if Roland Martin, and this is who I'm talking about, was not getting paid, he wouldn't be acting like this over the when it comes to us. And see, his problem is he would never take time to be on the real streets because the real streets don't like this dude. The real streets do not like Boule Roland Martin. Let's get to the picture. The real streets don't like this dude right here. He allows the Democratic Party to talk to us like dog. I mean, you see him on the panel, he's like a pit bull. It's like, shut up, white people. Let me get these black people. Let me do it. Let me take the whip. Let me put them in the hole. Let me punish them for not doing what you do, master. Oh, yes, I'm boss. I'll set them straight. I tell them that they stupid fools. Stuck on stupid. Now, Megyn McCain is a spoiled brat Republican. I wouldn't say nut job because then again, a nut job. She don't like Trump because the way Trump dogged her daddy out before he died. She voted for Joe Biden, so Doughboy should be happy. She support Biden. She said the family knows Biden. So when she started to talk about certain people running for office and losing, Doughboy himself decides to school her, decides to correct her, decides to set her straight. And we're going to go through this. I'm going to be stopping, but I'm going to try to go through this as much as possible without stopping because I need to get some sleep.
And Megyn McCain asked this. And Megyn McCain asked this question today. Go to my iPad, please, Henry. So this is what Megyn McCain, she tweeted today. She tweeted, genuine question. When Beto and Stacey Abrams lose tomorrow, how many more elections will they run in the future? How much more money will be given to them? How many more big magazine spreads and cameos on TV shows? At what point does winning start mattering to Democrats?
Now, this is a fair question. Now, Meghan McCain, who has been supporting Democrats recently, she's not a MAGA person. She can't stand MAGA. She hates MAGA guts. And she asks a genuine question. When Beto and Stacey Abrams lose tomorrow, now I don't know about Beto, but Stacey's already losing. And when she loses today, now they're going to try to blame it on black people. And guess who's going to fall right in line to blame on black men? It's going to be Roland, Bowling Ball, can't get enough of that Golden Crisp, Sugar Bear looking Martin. When Beto and Stacey Abrams lose tomorrow, how many more elections will they run in the future? Now, she's asking a genuine question. How much money will they be given to them? She's asking a genuine question. How many more big magazine spreads and cameos on TV shows? It happens a lot with these people and they lose. At what point does winning start to matter to Democrats? So she actually given them a very valid, very solid criticism. Why all this investment in people who lose? Now me, I'm not the type of person, and I can pretty much say, when you got your best candidate, you got to do whatever you can to invest in them and help them. Especially when they're standing in line on what you believe. Like, contrary to what you believe, I am not for abortion. So I look for my candidate who's anti-abortion. I am open to situation where it's a life and death decision between the mother and the child. Life and death situation, especially when this mother have other children. Life and death situation, especially when you got a little baby, 10, 11, 12, 13 years old, they got pregnant. But for Shalandra, who got pregnant by Cal, and her and Cal got in an argument, but now she don't want to have Cal baby. No. You should have strapped up. You should have wore some protection. You should have got some shots and all. There's all kind of contraceptives out there that pretty much lowers your chance of getting pregnant. No. Especially black people, no. At one time, we were the majority in America, but the census would never say that. We were the majority in America during slave times, but the census won't say that. Anytime you got one field owner with about 5 to 25 slaves on it, who's the majority? And you duplicating that all over the country, who's in the majority? And when you're training us to populate like cattle because you looked at us like cattle, and no, I'm not buying any more slaves when I got enough slaves to breed like hotcakes. No. And then when you get upset because we've already gotten so used to this process, so even after we free, we breed, you got to find some way to snuff us out because you're going to lose in numbers like you're trying to find a way now. That's why I never supported any kind of V's, you know what I mean? You know, I'm not getting another one. I've got 2 just for my mom, and when I found out that she had it, she got hers, I was highly upset. Because I only got it for her because I didn't want to bring, as they were saying, don't bring that stuff from New York down here to Florida. And then when I get home, find out she got it, I would have never got it. Because I had it, and I had some medication that took care of it before they came out with a V. How much more money? Well, a person, if you think he did good based on the time he ran and based on his strategy, especially when they, reassess and re-strategize for the future and it's looking good, you continue Beto, Stacey, and Avery. But if Beto loses twice and Stacey Abrams loses twice, it's time for you to get better candidates. And I always said that these are not good candidates. Stacey Abrams is pretty much spitting out Margaret Sanger's views, a racist, homicidal, genocidal, Nazi talking points when it comes to the economy, blaming the economy on children. So I agree with Stacey Abrams. If you have lost multiple times, why would you keep investing? If you invested in a stock that has a history of losing, not that many history of gaining or making profit, why would you keep investing in it? Well, one day I believe it's going to. No. You got to at least look at some projections. You got to at least look at some stats, some graphs to see how can this company grow. But if Beto and Stacey Abrams lose, and they will lose, why not find better candidates instead of keep running the same candidates? And see, that's how the Democratic Party is. They pick and choose the candidate and tell you to support them. These people don't come from the grassroots like a Marcel Dixon, like a Cynthia Nixon. Well, I wouldn't say she grassroots, she Hollywood. Like a Jamu Baraka. You don't see these people coming up. I mean, even when it comes to Andrew Gilliam, the Democratic Party didn't pick Andrew Gilliam. They wanted Bob Graham's daughter. They wanted to bring a new legacy of Bob Graham, former Florida governor, into the Democratic fold. They wanted to welcome a new legacy of Graham's, like welcoming a new legacy of Kennedy's. They wanted that. Told Gilliam, we're not going to invest in you. We're going to invest in her. So they pick and choose. Gilliam had to go to Our Revolution. Gilliam had to go to Brand New Congress. Gilliam had to go to Justice Democrats just to get some kind of support and funding. And he won. And now they say we're going to support you because they beat that you. Get out of here. Now look at them now. They didn't want him to run for governor. I honestly believe all that stuff was a setup. Don't get me wrong. He a metrosexual, in the closet, out the closet, whatever, LGBTQ guy, and that's his prerogative. He can do whatever he want to do, as Bobby Brown said. But I honestly believe that incident was a setup just to make sure he don't ever have a chance in politics, because they never wanted him to have a chance in politics. So they went with Chris. They banked on Chris because they already picked him. They want somebody that's not going to barely lose, because Gilliam barely lost that one. So why would you invest? So let me keep going.
Well, I had to.
This lady said, this just feels a little hateful. Beto also went to every county in Texas, and I'm pretty sure Abrams covered most of Georgia. Yes. Abrams did go to certain area of Georgia. I bet you. Did she go to the rural areas where the white people are? Did she go to the pretty much Latino county? Because I guarantee you, when she lose, the narrative is black men, and she's already trying to set up this narrative because the Democratic Party gave her the talking points to set up this narrative that I can win this black man, vote for me. No, you can't. You can't expect Georgia black men who are pretty much conservative to all of a sudden vote for you because you're a black woman when you got unconservative views. So you're not going to get a lot of black men, and you're not going to get a lot of black women that's conservative to vote for you. Don't you dare think you're going to get 100% of the black vote. If you lose, you got to get your eyes off the black male vote, because the black male is going to vote for you, I guarantee you, higher than anybody else, any demographic, higher than Asians, higher than Islamic, the Arab community, higher than the Christian community, higher than the Jewish community. I guarantee you, black men is going to be, if not side by side or ahead of black women, they're going to be right behind them. So you can't blame them. What you need to do is go point that blame to those in the Asian community who they got a crime bill knocked off with majority of blacks supporting it 3 days after a massacre. But you have a massacre in Buffalo, and we don't even know what's going on with these guys. We don't know what kind of legislation that they have right now to deal with anti-black black, anti African American, anti FBA crimes. So whether she covered Georgia or not, whether Beto covered Georgia or not, that don't mean they're going to win. That's what you're supposed to do when you run for office. One of the reasons why Hillary Clinton didn't win a lot of red states is because she sent Bernie Sanders out there, even though they didn't like her anyway. But let's keep going.
Respond to that. And I did in a series of tweets. So allow me to explain it here and unpack this thing for y'all. And this is what I said to Megan, which clearly you would think somebody who is constantly invoking her dad's name, who was a United States Senator, would have some understanding of politics. You would think somebody.
Just because her dad's in politics don't mean she should have understanding in politics. Who say you have a lot of understanding in politics? Just because you in Washington, D.C., just because you bougie up with these political elites, do not mean that you know about on-the-ground politics. You think you know, but you don't know. You have no street cred on the ground. So you can't even mobilize people to get out there. All you can do is brown nose the Democrat and brown beat anybody else who thinks anti-Democrat. They can think anti-Republican and Democrat, and you automatically going to put them on the side that they're pro-Republican.
Who has worked at Pivot, Fox News, MSNBC, The View, has a column, has written books, has had a radio show, has gotten all of these political jobs. She would have any understanding of basic politics or politics 101.
What make you think just because you're a journalist, a news reporter, that's been hired to cover mostly political issues? You're not even hired to do that. You're hired to be the political arm of the Democratic Party, another racist, bigot party. Instead of a white Tucker Carlson being the political arm of the Republican Party, another racist, bigot party, and Fox being a racist, bigot news agency. Contrary to what my brothers in the black conservative sector on YouTube channel think, they are a bigot, white supremacist arm of the Republican Party, just like these black bootlicks, butter biscuit, boule raccoons. Yeah, I said it. Just because they're being used to be the Stephen of the Democratic Party to try to keep black people on the plantation. These type of people think black people are leaving the plantation going to the Republicans. We know a plantation, bro. Ain't nobody dumb enough to go from one plantation to the other one. We trying to build our own plantations.
So this is what I had to explain to Megan on social media, because she clearly has no clue about politics. In 1984 and 1988, Reverend Jackson ran for president of the United States. And there were people who were saying, Jesse, why are you running? He was hearing the phrase, run, Jesse, run. It followed Harold.
Sound familiar? There's another black brother in South Carolina decided to run for president run for Senate, run for Congress, because he felt nobody else was willing to challenge a certain person. And people like him was asking, why are you running? See, folks, they think that if you already got a Democrat in that seat, you should never run against them. Why would you have that kind of philosophy, especially if the person ain't doing nothing? So if you don't run against them, you don't primary them, you're going to keep having that fool in there not doing nothing. Every election should always have a challenger. But people like Roland, Boule Martin, don't think that. Because Politics 101 say you don't challenge within the party. You always challenge outside the party. No, that's not politicking 101. That's American crooked rigged system of politicking. That's all it is. But that's not politicking 101.
Washington being elected mayor of Chicago in 1983. And so he runs in 1984 and is traveling around the country. And then he runs again in 1988. And what people don't understand is that Reverend Jackson's run in 1988 led to Ron Brown becoming the first black chair of the Democratic National Committee.
That's because they knew that if they didn't do something to get on the side of Reverend Jesse Jackson, they could lose the black vote. Now, the point is, Roland Martin, Jesse Jackson never made it to the presidential seat. He lost. And people who you hate actually supported him more than you did, like Donald Trump. Donald Trump was one of the major contributors to the Jesse Jackson campaign and went out there and helped stump for him. Bernie Sanders was a major contributor black. The Democratic Party did not want Reverend Jesse Jackson to run. But Jesse Jackson had an organization and felt the need to run. And I know you're going to say, well, him running led to a black man. Then whether it was a black man or not, somebody was going to get put in that position. If Jesse Jackson would have lost, they would have handed that position to him. Yeah, and what happened to Ron Brown out anyway? I was just over there on the street that they named after him over there at Freedom Plaza at the reparation rally. What happened to Ron Brown? He mysteriously died in a plane crash. It's mighty funny. All these people tied up to the Clintons mysteriously died or strangely died some kind of weird freaking way.
To them changing the rules of the Democratic Party from winner take all to proportional wins, because folks said, wait a minute, it's grossly unfair that Reverend Jackson was not able to win delegates, even though he was winning many of these places where a lot of black folks were. And so
the reason he didn't win any delegates, even though he was winning in certain areas, is because bigotry and racism in the Democratic Party. They don't want a black man to run for office, even if he was tied up to Dr. Martin Luther King. And there was the scandal about the Jewish community. Speaking of scandals today concerning the Jewish community, it was a scandal about the Jewish community and the so-called Jaime town that killed Reverend Jesse Jackson's shot at the White House.
The rules were changed in the Democratic Party because Reverend Jackson dared to run for president. And so what ended up happening?
The rules were changed when Bernie Sanders ran for office, because Bernie Sanders ran for president, but he still lost. Now I know where he's getting. We need people running, because certain people that run for office can turn the tides or turn the party either left or even right or right in the middle, so we can have some balance. So, like, for an example, Bernie Sanders, him and the Democratic Committee, which was all-sided, mostly Hillary Clinton's and less Bernie, pushed a platform for Medicare for All platform. They pushed educational platform. They pushed $15 minimum wage. They pushed a lot of policies. A lot of policies got put in, but never infiltrated. He pretty much gave him the platform that he's been running on forever, and they are starting to work on that platform. So yeah, running for office can cause the political structure to go a certain direction, but at the end of the day, the political structure is still white dominated and still money dominated, and most of that money is coming from corporations that controls the politicians, and the people still don't have no hand in this, Roland.
20 years later, a then senator from Illinois, Barack Hussein Obama, runs for president. People talk about, how Obama won the Democratic nomination, but everybody forgets that Obama lost the major states in.
Obama had to go in and lobby the delegates to get on his side. He had to use his political clout with black people backing him, saying, hey, look here, I got the black people on my side. And if you want to win this election, you got to get the black people on your side. And if the black people are not on your side, like Pookie and Ray Ray and, JoJo and KC and, LaShonda, I can be responsible for you not winning. They knew that. They knew that black man, half white man, who tapped in his black activism side at that time, could control the black demographic, so some things had to move. Obama knew that. That's why you got strategists around you and say, hey, look, you got strength. The Democratic Party never won anything since the 60s without black votes, without black power. And right now you got it. Now you can get just about anything you want. Even though this is her dream job, you can pretty much steal the dream from her, kind of like what Trump did. Steal the dream from her, and you can call the shots, because without this vote, because the Clintons had the black vote, but the black vote isn't with her, it's with you.
In 2008 to Hillary Clinton. She won California. She won Texas. She won Ohio. She won Pennsylvania. Because Michigan and Florida moved their states, then their votes were not included. So fact of the matter is this here. If Reverend Jackson does not run in 88 and then change the rules, Obama is not president. Reverend Jackson didn't win in 1984 and 88,
and we know that, Roland.
Megan, but Obama did in 2008.
And why did Obama win in 2008? Because he went and finessed the delegates. Obama did not have a shot until he had the delegates on the board. And those delegates knew the power that Obama had with the black community. Obama was stealing black power from the Clintons, because he knew that black people going to support it. That we gonna make history. We finally got a black person that got some clout. See, we learned a mistake with the Jesse Jackson. They had to put some kind of scandal in Jesse Jackson's way to derail him. Barack Obama had his ducks in a row where it was hard for them to do that. And he had to use his political power to save people who went off at the mouth like a Joe Biden. Oh, those are racist tropes, but I think Joe's a good guy. Me and Joe got a relationship, and it's looked like it's getting stronger. He's a good guy. That bigot, racist son of a gun might be my VP. That way we can lock in the white vote and the black vote. But right now I got the black vote. Hillary ain't got it. Obama stole the black power. And he went to the delegates and showed his power. And he went to the delegates and say, hey, and a lot of those delegates was people already in office. You want to stay in office? Back me. Because I got the black vote. Black power is in my hand. And you know that in your district, in your state, your chances of winning in the future is slim to none if you ain't got the black vote. I will campaign against you if you don't support me. Now, we don't know all these talks, but that's the kind of talk they talk. They won't tell you that. It's all about whipping, tying up the hands, putting them in a position where they got no choice. You don't leave them a choice.
See, Megan, winning is not always when you win a race. It's when other folks are the beneficiaries of you running.
Now, we got a brother in South Carolina, Marcel Dixon. Shout out to Marcel Dixon. I'm going to get to him. The reason he ran was for our benefit. He lost the first election, but got a decent amount of votes for somebody who started less than 6 to 7 months till the election, because nobody else would run, and he ran against a juggernaut. That juggernaut had to pull on every power player in Washington, D.C. to come out and support him, including Joe Biden, including President Barack Obama, including Vice President Kamala Harris. He had to pull out the big guns because he was running scared. And they funneled the money. They gave him millions of dollars to try to hold on to that district because they don't want no Marcel Dixon, because we don't think we can control that dude. And people try to say, well, he's just like AOC. You can't compare this dude to no AOC. This dude's working for black people, not for progressives.
So you're critical of Stacey Abrams running and Beto O'Rourke running. And let's just assume, because first of all,
she's not, in this particular case, she's not critical on them running now. She's saying if they lose, or when they lose, because the numbers don't look too good, are you going to keep pushing them to run again? And I say it's dumb to keep running somebody that's losing. It's dumb. Your excuse for them running again and again, Roland Martin, is stupid because they never changed the narrative. Now look, Stacey Abrams, when she lost that race in Georgia, and she lost the first race herself, she lost it, number one, because she didn't call out Brian Kemp to step down from his position as Secretary of State of Georgia, who runs the election. You're going to keep the man who running the election in office? You're not going to call him out and demand that he step down? That's your biggest mistake. And now he's governor. And he got one of his buddies, Secretary of State, again. So you think anything going to be any different? Plus, you didn't reach out to the black community with their needs. You went to the black community with the needs of the Democrats. You went to push the Democratic agenda to black people instead of you pushing the black agenda to Democrats. That's another thing that didn't help you in the last election and is not going to help you in this election. And you can't just always talk about women, white women and LGBT and stuff like that. You're pretty much, most of your big numbers are going to come from the major metropolitan area districts. And if you can't win those because a certain amount of people decided not to go out and vote, or they voted for Brian Kemp because Brian Kemp, bigot as he is, and I don't even really know that. I don't know the guy. But let's say he's a bigot. Bigot as he is, I'm not for abortion. And there's a couple other things I'm not for. I'm not for immigrants coming in here all willy-nilly. I'm not. The jobs that they're getting, we should be getting. The thing is, the only reason, let me get off that. We'll talk about that another day. You're giving them, these corporations, a chance to rob people of their labor. It's hurting the immigrants by them coming to this country. It's not helping them. I know it sounds great. That's the most money they ever made in their life. But look, they come to live in America. They're going to need more than that. Now, the thing about Stacey Abrams, she had an organization, a lot of rich Democrats and stuff like that poured money in that organization just to try to deal with the local races and deal with the voting issue and things like that, and which was good. I always thought it was best for them to make Stacey Abrams the head of the DNC, not no freaking Jamie Dimon. Is it Jamie Dimon? Or Jamie Harrison? Whatever, Jamie Harris, whatever his name.
folks, the votes have not been fully cast and not been fully accounted for. But let's just say, for the sake of this conversation, Megan, that Stacey Abrams and Beto O'Rourke don't win the gubernatorial races tomorrow. What you don't understand, Megan, is that by Beto O'Rourke running and losing by 2.5 points to Senator Ted Cruz, he actually energized the entire Democratic base. And so when he was running, there were people who were down ballot who actually won their elections because of the turnout of Beto O'Rourke. See, Megan, you don't know jack about Texas politics.
All right, so let's deal with this. The people was gonna come out anyway. Whether it was Beto or O'Rourke or Beto or whatever, the people gonna come out and vote. That election with Beto O'Rourke was during the time of the presidential election. It wasn't during pretty much the midterms. You're trying to talk about midterms. No, we're talking about the presidential. Beto O'Rourke came out big time during the presidential election. Now, we're going to see if the turnout is going to be higher or lower in this election. But because of spinning a narrative that you're going to go to hell in a handbasket, they're going to go back to hanging you. They're going to go back to tarring and feathering you if you don't let the Democrats keep their seat and all that. Most of that stuff, people turning out on fear. You're going to lose your rights. Juneteenth gonna get overturned, and Sherman, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, you're gonna go back to slavery. All that kind of talk got people in fear to get out and vote. And the shame tactic. Oh, you're spitting on your grandma. They died for you to vote. No, they died for black empowerment. Voting was one of the ways to get black empowerment, but it was not the only way. It was not even the main way. The main way is getting out there and applying pressure, shutting stuff down, boycott, divesting, crushing, turning up, showing you can get just as many guns as anybody else, showing them you know how to use your guns to protect yourself, showing them that demonstrating your culture in their face. Got them to the point where we got to do something, man, because these people look like they're ready to turn up. It wasn't voting. It wasn't turning up the vote or get your boot into the bowl of no vote, no vucking.
I do. I'm actually from Texas. I'm born and raised in Texas. I'm still a registered.
Yeah, but you're living in D.C. You're living in D.C. And politics is pretty much the same. You might got some scummy tactics in political affairs. The bottom line is you got to be a registered voter. And if anybody want to get your vote, they got to come campaign. They got to make phone calls. They got to knock on doors. They got to have rallies, as you guys love to do, fish fries and all that kind of stuff. You got to do that to try to get people registered to vote, and you got to find a way to get them out to the polls to vote. That's everywhere, not just Texas.
Voter in Texas. Mama and daddy 74, 75. Mama be 75 in a couple of weeks. So they have worked political campaigns. See, I don't just yell my daddy, my daddy, my daddy like you do, but I do.
Have you worked a political campaign? I know you're working to campaign for the Democrats. You want to make sure the lesser of the two evil, the lesser plantation owner stays in power. And you can talk about Megan all you want. Her dad was an elected official. Her dad ran for president against Obama, and he lost. And you were happy. You're crapping on him, and you're doing the same thing. So don't get mad at her when she asks simple questions about Beto O'Rourke and Stacey Abrams, because you clowned John McCain after he lost. You clowned him. Look, I voted against John McCain in the first election. I voted for Jill Stein in the second one. I wasn't voting for Obama or that nutcase, Latter-day Saint nutcase. I wasn't voting for him. Barack Obama was doing everything for everybody but black people his first 4 years. And then he said, oh, come on, black people, get me back in power another 4 years, and I got you. I got you. Don't worry about it, buddy. Don't worry, me and Joe got you. Sasha and Malia's going to be by our side, and Michelle, she got you. Let's go. Vote me in again, and he still ain't doing nothing for black people. All the things that you said he did was for all people.
understand politics, Megan. And what you have to understand, Megan, is that Democrats used to.
She's lived politics. Her dad is a long time, decades upon decades, politician. You trying to say she don't know? She grew up in it. You didn't grow up in it. Folks, I'm not going to discount Meghan McCain on behalf of this turkey. I don't like Meghan McCain and her politics. She's a bougie old white spoiled brat who her daddy and mommy gave her everything. And that's what happened when you're bougie and brat. She's like, the freaking Hiltons, the Paris Hiltons, That's her. She ain't got to want for nothing. She's freaking wealthy. Her dad married up. The power wasn't her daddy. The power was her mom. And the wealth and fortune that mom got. But you can't sit here and say that she don't know politics. She grew up in it, bruh. She asked a valid question. When are y'all gonna start running the same candidate? Are you trying to win, or are you just trying to change some things locally? What are you doing? Because seem like you using that as a lame excuse, Roland Martin. These Republicans are trying to win. And in this election, look like they're going to do it.
Be in control of all statewide positions in Texas. John Tower, Republican, was the first Republican elected statewide in Texas since Reconstruction. George W. Bush beats Ann Richards for governor. When he wins the second term, they win all statewide positions. They've since run the entire state.
Recording on Zoom? Who still does that?
Thankfully, with Riverside, you can record.
These YouTube ads. Now look, we already talked about this. We're talking about 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. This is the second time. You talking about people that ran twice. Are you gonna keep people running people 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 10 times?
Megan, Dallas County flips from red to blue. 18 black women run for judge in Harris County, Houston. I helped campaign for them, and they win in 2018.
A person that's supposed to be a news journalist is out there campaigning for politics. This proves to you that he's sold out to the Democratic Party. How many Republicans have you campaigned for, Roland Martin? How many independent people have you campaigned for? Do you actively campaign against Democrats? And if so, you personally put in chat, because I know you watch this. Tell me who. And show me some pictures. Show me some evidence. I'm not just going to believe you. Now, look, I get what Roland is saying. 1 or 2 times, you got to keep running. You can't just quit. So he's talking about all these reasons why somebody should keep running. And what running does. Running over and over again. And Megan is saying how many times we have to figure that these people ain't it. Are you using them to change the structure, what happens locally? Or are you trying to get them to win and change the structure that happens locally? Because right now, the way Roland Martin's saying, we're using Stacey and Beto to change things. It doesn't matter whether they win or not. We still can change some things. No, it should always matter. Winning should always matter. Stop giving people crappy people to go out and vote for. That's why the voting numbers are low, because you keep giving people crap. And people are tired of voting for crap. So if they keep seeing you handing them crap, they're going to reject the crap. And right now we got 2 pieces of crap in Georgia right now with Herschel Walker and the good Reverend Warnock. Crap. You got a reverend that preaches abortion. A reverend that don't even believe the word of God. He'll believe whatever he wants, but when it comes to the Democratic Party, he will put the Democratic Party before the word of God. I don't want to touch that. A person that don't want to answer debate questions. He'll obfuscate and start telling stories about this person, that person. That's a Democratic robot. A person who just a sock puppet for the Democrat who has no mind of his own And all he's going to do is repeat talking points of the Democrat. And that's the same way with Stacey Abrams. God, I would love to have her be a generational in-your-face candidate. It's not. She's talking. She's so easily puppet-sized. She ain't just going to say stuff out there like Nina Turner or Bernie Sanders, something like that, buck up against their own party. She's not going to do that. Beto O'Rourke is not going to do that. And this guy right here is not going to do that. And he's not even running for office. He's going to continue to push the lines for the Democrats because all he is a Democratic sock puppet. He is the black arm of the Democratic media structure. And his goal is to whip black people back on the plantation to continue to support the master. That's his job. Tiffany Cross, she didn't make the job. She failed to do the job. She won't cuss people out like Roland. Roland working for herself. So Tiffany, in order for her to get dollars from the Democratic Party, she gonna have to do like Roland Mondu, start a podcast, a newscast, or join him, or she can get some money from St. Uger. I heard let me get off him. And I'm about to say something.
Megan, what then happens? Black DA in Dallas County, black DA in Houston. All of a sudden,
stop using these politicians as the reason why you got these. Black people vote in high numbers anyway. The only time we get kind of tapered off in voting is when it comes to the midterms or when it comes to local elections locally. And we're trying to, not just you, Roland, but the Black Grassroots movement is not necessarily telling people don't get out to vote. We're saying if they don't have anything on there for you, don't vote for them. We ain't say don't vote, you big old beanbag head. If they don't have nothing to help you and your community out. Yeah, you've seen them have a record of voting for things that help other communities out. But don't do nothing for you. You'll be a damn fool to vote for them. You'll be out your freaking mind to vote for them. That makes you a sadomasochist. You continue to get abused and abused and abused and abused. And all you saying is, thank you, I have another. Thank you, I have another. While everybody else, they get romance, they get gifts, they get flowers, they go out to nice candlelight dinners, but you got to stay in the dungeon and stay chained up. And when it's time for you, I need you to give me what I want. And this guy loves to help. Oh, let me put the chains on him.
Democrats began to win Dallas County, Harris County, Bexar County, Travis County, because all of a sudden of the amount of money Beto raised and the organization and the infrastructure that he put in place, and because he visited every county in Texas. So
now let's talk about the money structure. The Democratic Party picked who they feel is the best person to run for that office. You don't get to pick. And if you got somebody running the campaign, they are not shy to go to that person and say, hey, I need you to step out. You're going to cause problems. Oh, we got Steny Hoyer on tape saying that to politicians. Yeah, they tried to tell AOC that, but now AOC is all on board now. When he was running against Joe Crowley. They tried to tell Jamal, what's his name? My district. They tried to tell him the same thing. They tried to tell Cori Bush that. We're not supporting you. So, of course, Bernie Sanders, they said, we got you. We still need to get them primaried because we need to change some of the structure. Some of the things that Roland said does has its basis. You can't run for office to try to change the party's direction, but your ultimate goal is to win. But if you don't win, if you got enough support, if you got enough power, if you got enough guts that they need you in order to win, then you can make some changes. But if you ain't got it, you ain't making no changes. Beto O'Rourke is not making any changes to the Democratic structure. Stacey Abrams is not going to make it. Again, folks, Georgia is a pretty much conservative state. And when I say conservative, I mean they have traditional values. They're not a liberal state. Let's get out of this red and blue crap thinking Democrat, Republican. Let's get on mentality and beliefs. They're pretty much conservative. Even the blacks are there conservative. Even black Democrats are conservative. They feel they have to vote against their belief. And nobody wants to be in a position where they have to vote against their belief just to get a certain politician in office because, you know, they like black people better. I'd rather vote based on my certain belief and deal with the white supremacists in my face than go against my beliefs and bring in a white supremacist that smile in my face all the time. They want to stab me in the back. Now, money is king when it comes to these politicians, but the Democratic Party is going to pick and choose who get it. And if you can't get Democratic Party money, you got to find money outside. Stacey Abrams was picked by the Democratic Party. Beto was picked by the Democratic Party. That's what the whole Hillary Clinton Foundation and funding for her supposedly went down to the down ballots, but it didn't. She was hogging up the money herself, which is illegal, which is the reason why she should be in jail. She has so many illegal things that she's done, probably worse than Trump. Don't get me wrong, Trump did some illegal things. He need to be in jail, but she need to be 2 levels down below him.
He did what the previous folk who ran for governor wouldn't do, and that is travel the state. And so, Megan, if you actually know anything about politics, which
every person running for governor, listen to me, every person that runs for governor, if you decide to run for governor, you're supposed to go to every part of your states. You're not supposed to send surrogates or nothing like that. You're supposed to go. The surrogate can go with you, especially if the surrogate got more juice with those people than you do. You bring that person with you to endorse you. Bernie Sanders went on over 40-some campaigns with Hillary Clinton, even though he can't stand the Clintons. Don't get me wrong. Now, him and Joe friend, but he don't like the Clintons. He don't like no Clintons. And don't get me wrong, that don't get him off the hook for nothing. But this is one thing I know. He don't like them and they don't like him. But Hillary Clinton would have never got the progressive vote on her side without Bernie Sanders. It's just like with Barack Obama. Even though Barack Obama got majority of the black people on his side, he got a lot of women, white women on his side, but he couldn't get white men. So he had to get Joe Biden out there with him on the campaign trail. And occasionally Hillary Clinton. That's how he won. And that money started going, but the money then eventually started going to Barack Obama until he got the nomination thanks to the delegates that he stole from Hillary Clinton. The money had no choice but to go to him, whether they like it or not. Because the show wasn't going to go to John McCain. But yet you had Hillary Clinton supporters, her women, was ready to support John McCain instead of Barack Obama. White women, even some black women. So money matters, but the Democratic Party ain't going to give it to you if you're not their handpicked. And they're supposed to funnel money down to the ballots, regardless of Beto or Stacey Abrams. The fundraising didn't come with the name. The fundraising came with the agenda. The fundraising came with the platform. They could have put anybody else other than Beto or Stacey in that, and they still would have had fundraising, because they were trying to run against the fear of radical Republicans or the fear of the MAGA people, whatever. That's why people got out to the polls. And they figure this is how you get people to the polls all the time, is fear. And I'm telling you, that's going to run dead. That's run its course. Like the slave said on the ship, I'd rather die in the ocean than to be a slave to you. That is running thin. Got a lot to go.
clearly do not. and I know you called it a serious question or a generous or whatever you called it, then you have to understand that there are times when you lose, but you win. Because what Beto O'Rourke has done by running twice, U.S. Senate and now governor, he literally is reviving a moribund Democratic Party that frankly has been demoralized the last 20 years. See, they thought in 2008 when
How has the Democratic Party been demoralized in the last 20 years? The Democratic Party has demoralized themselves in the last 20 years. Demoralized mean lacking morals. And the way they legislate and the policies that they produce is downright immoral. They're continually to demoralize themselves. No candidate is going to fix that because they have these candidates run on demoralizational issues. That's why a lot of people say, I'm taking the hat off. I'm not looking at parties. I'm looking at the individual. And if their policies in line with my policies, that's how I'm voting. Policies, not party. And you can hate me, you can shout me down, but I don't care. I'll take it. I want to be responsible because I care more about those policies than anything. I'm a millionaire. I don't want taxes being taken out. I understand. I'm not. I'm still on the poor. I mean, I wouldn't say poor, but I'm not a billionaire. But I can understand why billionaires tend to vote that way because they don't want to spend all that money on taxes. I get it. You should give some of that money away, by the way. Even if a Democrat is in charge, give some of that money away so so you can get a tax write-off. Anyway, that's just no excuse, rich people. For you not, but people going to vote based on their values and their beliefs, not on what you try to push on us. Not what you try to push on us.
there was all of this energy and excitement around Clinton and Obama, the party was ready to come back. They said, man, this is a shot, because so many folks were energized. But guess what happened?
The folks were energized because of Obama. Now, the speech Obama did at the National Committee sparked it all. The vision of red and blue coming together for the sake of America, not for the sake of self. Soon as he got elected, it went straight to blue. He did what he could to kiss the behind of red, but red was like, no, so he went straight to blue. And that's okay. We're going to put, I got a majority for now.
Obama wins the nomination, becomes president, and he forgets Texas. He only comes to Texas to pick up campaign checks, and he left. They literally never organized Texas. So for 8 years of the Obama presidency, Texas wasn't organized.
Obama didn't need to go to Texas. He could have sent Joe Biden, and they didn't really need Texas. They really didn't need Texas. They were being strategic. They knew what they got, that they knew what they could possibly win and what they could possibly lose. And they put all their energy on the places that can possibly win versus the one that they know they're going to lose. Let me keep going.
In 16, wasn't organized. And all of a sudden, Beto actually runs. And all of a sudden, now Texas get organized. Now let's go to Georgia. What happens there? Stacey Abrams, the city.
We're talking about the first time running. Of course, they're going to get organized. First time running. It's a pandemic. Well, the pandemic was happening. Yeah, but we was pretty much dealing with, still dealing with some serious issues at that time. And Stacey Abrams runs for office. And now we paint the narrative that we can win some of these southern states if we do this and this and that. And we have to because of Trump. And if we don't, Trump gonna have all us, killed, and he gonna send us all back to Africa and him back to Haiti. And Trump this and Trump the boogeyman, and Trump and his supporters, MAGA, the Koch group, and sedition and capital invasion and stuff like that. You got to stop this. They're trying to tear down our democracy, and they were. But do you think you're not tearing down democracy? You're doing soft tactics to tear down a democracy. You're trying to control people's speeches. You're trying to control what people listen to and what people hear. You're going to dehumanize somebody if they decide to listen to something or watch something that you think may be anti-black, or you may think, I don't care if a white person or a Latino watch an anti-black video. That's not going to bother me. I don't need to get out there and apologize for me and go through all this stuff and pay money to our community, because they ain't going to do that anyway. But soon as one of us get ready to do something, you don't think that's not democratic? You don't think that's undemocratic? You think me calling you a coon on Twitter and I get a strike for that? You should be able to call me a coon, and I should just be able to brush it off. What happened to sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me? What happened to that? We've become such a mamby-pamby, soft, wussified, pussified country, so emotional, so into our feelings that, oh, that hurt my feelings. Who gives a crap? You're supposed to be an American. You're supposed to be a patriot. We don't let stuff hit our feelings. People all over the world talk about America like a dog. Do we get mad and try to stop them from talking? Talk what you want. Bro, I got strength over here. Hate me what you do, say whatever you want. That's the beauty of this country. But yet you got Democrats. They scared of Elon Musk. Oh, he's going to bring free speech back. He should. You shouldn't be calling people opportunity to speak. Your choice, either you're going to give it prime time with your own attention or thoughts, or you're just going to change to another channel. Just going to change. It's certain type of TV shows I don't like, so I turn. I don't get upset and say, why y'all making this movie offensive, this TV show is offensive, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. It's America. Make all the movies you want. I'm not going to watch it. And if I watch it, I have the opportunity to refute it. I have an opportunity to down talk it. I have an opportunity to deconstruct and break it down and expose it.
In there in the Georgia's house. And they're saying, y'all, we can win Georgia if y'all put money in Georgia. Democrats said, no, we ain't wasting our time with that.
Now, they were saying we can win Georgia if we can get out the vote. Folks, if people are hollering we can win Georgia, those people who saying that need to come out their pocket and donate. The problem is they have to go through Act Blue, and Act Blue take the money and share it down ballot. That's why I don't give money to these politicians. I hit you up on your PayPal, but I'm not going to give money to no Act Blue. Act Blue takes the money and divides it. And then the Democratic Party get to determine where Act Blue should distribute that money. Put money in Georgia. There's plenty of money in Georgia. Georgia always had money. You got a freaking billionaire, what's his name, was putting a ton of his billions into Georgia. You got people in Georgia and people outside of Georgia thought we can win, and they donated money to Stacey. They donated money to Warnock and the other guy that ran with Warnock, and all of them barely won those seats except for Stacey.
Megan, you think I'm lying? 2012, Megan, I'm standing outside of CNN waiting to go on.
You still not answering a question. You come up with this dumb, stupefied, around the world in 100 days question answering session. It's simple. If you keep losing, why you keep running the same people? Don't come up with no excuses of down ballot stuff. You get a better candidate, that's going to happen still.
Who is standing right with me? Congressman Chris Van Hollen. Who is Congressman Chris Van Hollen? At the time, he was a member of Congress.
He always got to boost himself and how close he are to these politicians, these scumbag politicians.
Congress of the House from Maryland. He was the chair of the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee. I say to him, Chris, if y'all invest money in...
There he go, inflating himself, thinking he the big deal, trying to portray in your face how powerful he is, and he's not. He can say all this stuff and these people look at him like, fool, get out of my face. Go in there and eat some butter biscuits and shut the heck up, man.
in Texas and register those 2 million eligible but unregistered Latinos, and y'all register those 800,000 black folks in Georgia, y'all can win. Chris Van Hollen tells me to my face, Megan, none of those are red states. I said, no, they are red if you never organize them.
So he's making it seem like he's the one that really pushed himself out. See, this guy is, Roland Martin is a narcoleptic and a narcissist. That's what he is. And when you don't go with his mind of thought, oh, you're going to be stupid fools, stupid idiots. His sense of superiority and high and mightiness should be sickening to you. I told him, I said to them this, I said to them that. They ain't do it my way, and that's why they lost. You Negroes need to do what I tell you to do, and we'll win. I, me, my. And a lot of times I think this fool just be lying. Let me tell you something, folks. Georgia, majority of it, just like New York, Georgia is mostly conservative. I told you, stop thinking red or blue. Let's think belief. Georgia is conservative more than liberal. Even the black people in Georgia have conservative values. Now, this new generation, they fell for the brainwashing of the liberal think tanks to think this is okay and that is okay and that is okay, when it's not. In most cases, it's not. It's dehumanizing and making America look bad. But the Democratic is trying to shape the country into one way. The Republicans trying to shape the country in one way. And I say you got to get your mind off the labels and think about the beliefs. You got conservatism, you got liberalism, and you got a mixture of both. I'm a little mixture of both. I have a lot of liberal views, but a lot of conservative views. You can't put me in a box. That's why I'm a non-voter, because I'm not gonna. Non-affiliate, because you're not gonna put me in a box. I don't like neither one of you. You got some things I like, and if your candidates can weight a scale on the things that I like more, they can get my vote. And here's one of the things I also like to do. I have demands. I had needs. My community have needs, and I personally have some needs. And if you're not willing to advocate for my needs, why are you wasting your time talking to me? Why is Roland running his mouth trying to convince me to get out and vote for you? Roland, are they doing the needs of my community? Is this, and that? Not what the Democrats said it is. It's what we say it is. And if you're not supplying those needs, or you're not going out to advocate those needs, then why are we voting for you? And I mean literally advocate. Not saying you support it. Not saying you'll sign a bill. I need you actively campaigning on it. I need you actively using the bully pulpit preaching this. I need you to actively gavel. I need you to actually put some sweat equity into getting these done. And a lot of things that we ask you to get done, you don't need to go legislate for that. All we need is you to back us when we go start hitting the streets and start doing some boycott, divestment, and shutting things down.
So what does Stacey Abrams do? Along with Raphael Warnock, along with other folks, they create an apparatus to do that. They change the laws, make it a part of getting your driver's license. All of a sudden, the number of unregistered people in Georgia drops to below 2%. And then what happens in 2020?
Now, did this fool say make it hard for you to get your driver's license?
Other folks, they create an apparatus to do that. They change the laws, make it a part of getting your driver's license.
You should have a government issue ID. See, this is the thinking of liberals, that you shouldn't have to have ID. Well, you let any Tom, Dick, and Harry. You trying to get any Tom, Dick, and Harry in to vote for you because you figure if we are the ones that help you get into this country and set you up, then we expect you to give us something in return. But when you look at us, when we tell you we the one keep giving you the power give us something in return, you look at us like, not right now. We got other things we need to think about. New York, you got to have an ID. Quite sure in Texas, you got to have ID. Most states, you need to verify yourself. Your local physical address need to match what's on your identification. New York City, we give you a city ID just in case you don't have a state ID. You can go to the library and get one of those IDs that help you get your passport, the whole 9 yards. IDs are essential when you come voting. You don't want to find out if somebody voted in your name 2-3 times, because it does happen. The machines will count your paper 4 times before it finally registers to vote, because you keep putting it in until it registers to vote. And next thing you know, you voted for this person and 1 time for that person because of the faulty machines. And the machines are hackable because they're computer-based. But if they lose, they'll go to those talking points I just talked about it. But if they win, if the other side talk about it, they want to shame them. Folks, that's why I hate party politics, because it do more harm than good. That's why you don't vote on party, you vote on individual and what they bring to the table concerning your community and then concerning other communities and the entire country, then the world. Your neighborhood, other neighborhoods, the state, the local area, the state, and the country, and then the world. I don't care what kind of hat you got on. You can be a person with a MAGA hat on, but these 4 things, if you're out here preaching and pushing that thing, I'm going to support you. It could be a trick bag. I'd rather deal with the person with the trick bag, because I can deal with him if he's fake and phony, than the person who's right there say, I'm not going to do none of these things for you. Why I'm putting you in office? At least this guy going to have my foot in his behind because he actually put himself out there to do it.
All of a sudden, the number of unregistered people in Georgia drops to below 2%. And then what happens in 2020? Worn out.
That's why they need to go register. Folks, if you're not registered to vote, go register to vote. Get your ID. I never tell you guys don't vote. I expect you to vote. My thing is, if they got nothing for you, don't waste your time voting. Stop looking at party hats. Stop letting these people try to clown you and make you feel shame if you don't vote for their people. No, it's not about your candidates. It's not about their candidate. It's about my candidate. My candidate. I'm looking for the candidate that believes and support and pushes these few things right here. And if they don't get my vote. If they do, they get my vote. It could be a Democrat. Do you got a Democrat that's going to campaign on these 4 issues? Do they have a history of doing it before they ran? Are they doing it now? Oh, yeah? All right, they got my back. If they don't, step off. Oh, okay, Republicans ain't going to do that. You don't know that. And whether they do it or not, don't mean I'm still going to support, go for your guy. If he don't want to do it, then I ain't voting for him.
Ossoff, Biden, Harris. See, Megan, when you run, it's not always about whether you win, but do you have a larger mission or a plan where others can win?
Now, I'm going to get off this. I'm going to stay on this question and I'm going to go here. This is Brother Greg Marcel Dixon. He ran for Congress in South Carolina against James Clyburn. He ran on a great platform, and let's look at that platform. And he's going to be running again. He lost his election. But Roland Martin didn't even use him as a subject. He used all these people in the Democratic Party that lost their elections. And then he tried to make excuses. Well, this is what is happening because losing is okay, because it helps us win in this and this and this. But he can't say that losing is okay here and it helps us win in this and this and this. But let me tell you something. Greg Marcel Dixon, his run against James Clyburn galvanized some energy among the black grassroots movement and people in the community. Marcel Dixon got more respect into the community, and his respect is growing to the point that Roland Martin don't want to have nothing to do with him. He clown him. He talks down on him, just like Meghan Cain's talking about Beto O'Rourke and Stacey Abrams. He lost his campaign, but the dude didn't start running until about 6 to 7 months before the actual election. Before the actual primaries. Because he didn't see nobody. He said, we got to get this guy out of office because he's hurting us. He sat there and went and got reparations for a Native American tribe that enslaved us. Enslaved his people. And was proud to stand there and smile saying, this is what I did for these people. But when it comes for us, he's always talking about, you ain't going to get no reparation with cash payments. It's impossible for him. His platform. Great platform, and it's growing. Better deal for America, better transportation, better education, better plan for thriving communities. Now, he represents his community, even though he will go to the U.S. Senate, but he will make these things happen for his community and eventually see if he can make it happen across the nation. He got these are platforms, a better deal for America, talk about reparation for black people, $16 trillion. You can go over that on his website. Roland Martin would never promote this. He has a platform that a bunch of people can run on. Now, I think he should add to the platform. I had a chance to meet him the other day. Better transportation. He want to make sure people got cars. He want government to take their money and invest in every family have a car to get to school, to get to work and things like that. And in most cases, you do need to have a job, but he believes the government should provide you a grant right here. Provide qualified individuals that have maintained steady employment for a year or more with grants from the government that will cover an initial down payment for at least $2,000. So you want a car, you need a car. He believed that if you worked a job for at least a year and you committed to that job, we're going to give you a $2,000 grant to put down payment on a car. Well, you can get a car for that much, Better education. You go and read these better plan for thriving communities. You go read this. Now, I think he should add some more to his platform, but he has a 4-point plan platform so far, and you can read into that plan. And a lot of these are black specific because he represents mostly black Americans in his district. So why would he sit there and push hard for Latinos and when they don't represent his district? He don't do like some of these people when they got majority of black people voting for them. He don't do that. Well, how come he didn't win? Well, the same reason. How come Beto didn't win? How come Stacey Abrams didn't win? Well, I know why she didn't win. She ran against the person that run the elections. Of course you're not gonna win. Now the question is why she didn't win, why she may not win today. So Greg Marsh said Dixon got a platform. Now, I say take it up from 5-point to 10-point platforms and we rally some people to run on it and the money can come. Now, we don't need the Democratic Party, Roland Martin, to get money to a state. All we need is the people. That's the whole point of our revolution, the whole point of Justice Democrat, the whole point of brand new Congress. They rally progressives for donations so they can fund candidates to run against the DNC pick. The Democratic National Committee pick. The Democratic National Committee pick going to have their picks and politicians who want to run for office and would love to campaign the Democratic Party because they should always be campaigned. They're not going to get money from DNC, so you go to some kind of third-party outside organization. Or you go to the Grassroots. And Marcel has a grassroots movement that's going to fund him in these campaigns. And look, that's what happened with Bernie Sanders. Democratic Party wasn't trying to give that man no money. But he developed a grassroots movement among progressives of all colors, non-affiliated, non-voters, some Democrats, some Republicans who just got tired of it, got on board with the political revolution, and they donated so much money that it blew out Hillary Clinton's fundraising. So you don't need the DNC to give you money. You don't need the DNC money to funnel money down ballot. You need a strong organizing. So yeah, he's right in the organizing effort, but you don't need the Democratic Party. Now, going back to Meghan McCain's question, why you keep running these people? And if they keep losing, are you going to keep running them? Simple question, Roland. Simple question. Are you going to keep running these people for office if they keep losing? Because your answer is mute, is dumb, is silly. You're just trying to get back at Meghan McCain when she asks a valid question. Wouldn't the same thing go if you put some better candidates that has a possible chance of actually beating these people? Wouldn't the money continue to go if you get better politicians that has a record of winning? Now, don't get me wrong, Beto has a record of winning. He does. And don't get me wrong, Stacey has done some things in Georgia that's very valid to most communities. But right now, when it comes to Roland Martin's audience, which is majority black, when it comes to black people are serious about the return of black power. We're serious about grabbing our fair share of the economic structure. We're serious about taking dominant positions in office, in Capitol Hill or wherever, and really advocate for our people. We're serious about a real black caucus, not a coon black caucus. We're serious about putting people in position, but we're not leaning our change on people in political positions. They can help assist, but they're not to lead. And right now, Roland Martin, it's simple. While you got that shirt on saying voting while black, then you got to understand that there's some shirts saying no black agenda, no vote. And no matter who you run for office, the chance of them losing because they didn't get the black male vote and some female votes, because there's a lot of black females that's on the side of black power, grabbing black, using our black power to make some changes from the top to the bottom, from the grassroots, and not through political parties. We got a lot of black women, we got a lot of black men coming together that we want to push the growth of our family. We want to see more black families on TV, black men and women and their kids on TV. We want a return of that, of the black family structure, not what the Democratic Party told us a family structure should look like. We want it based on who we are. Like I said, a lot of us have conservative and liberal, and people are going to vote that way. People are not going to vote based on parties, so you can yell, yee-haw, and all that kind of stuff. It's just not going to happen. The question is, my beliefs are pretty much conservative with a sprinkle of liberalism on top. It's not liberalism with a sprinkle of conservative. I'm more conservative than liberal. I got a lot of liberal, but I'm more conservative. So guess what, Roland? The person that I like is going to be that type of person or close to it, because we have the same views and belief, and we want to see this push in America. Number two is I don't care about no parties. If you don't have a black agenda, if you're not advocating for reparations for Native Black Americans, foundational Black Americans, then you can go ahead and move on. I don't need you. And that is going to echo, and it is going to duplicate, and it's starting to snowball effect. That doggone rally was bigger than I thought it was going to be. Can't wait till the next one. It was all peace, love, education, the whole 9 yards. And we got a mobility. Now, we have a strategy to move forward. Strategy today, if you don't have a black agenda, you don't advocate for reparations, if you don't have a plan just for the black families, husband, wife, and kids, a specific plan to bring them up, lift them up on equal status with whites. If you don't have that, you ain't get my vote. You had plenty of time to get it. You thought we were playing around when we told you 5 years ago, and you still think we're playing around, and we're going to show you we're not playing today. Now, you may barely squeak out a win, but the bottom line is this message is going to continue to get echoed. So, in closing, it's a simple question. Not a fan of Meghan McCain. Simple question. How long are you going to keep people running that's going to keep losing and losing and losing? Marcel Dixon lost, but he's going to run again. And now he's getting more support. He's getting out there. He's getting more eyes on him. He's going out there and talking to people. His platform is going to be distributed in such an easy, streamlined way. You'll see it on the back of a T-shirt. It's going to be from 4, and I say he should go to 10, 4-point platform. Put it on a T-shirt. Put it on a flyer. Put it on the website. Get it on people's phone. Get it on. Let the people, young and old, know that this man is trying to do this for you. This other man ain't doing jack for you. You need to elect this man. Get this other man out of office. Put this man in office, and people like him in office because they're going there to fight for black people. First, B1, black people first. Second, the rest of the communities. But we're going to separate ourselves, black people first. Then once we take care of the needs of the black people first, then we're going to go take care, and those specific needs are not that many. But then we're going to go take care of the communities in our area and then abroad. But it starts with black first. And if your party is not pushing black first, then they can push their behind somewhere else. Guys, I'm Bobby Brown with the Bobby Brown on the show. I know this was pretty long, but it need to be said. Meghan McCain had a solid question. Now, I'm not a fan of Meghan McCain. Matter of fact, I can't stand the spoiled brat, elitist. But she have a question. Are you going to keep running these people for office if they keep losing? But you're gonna lose sometimes, and you gotta lose because there's a silver lining in the rainbow. We get more money down to the down balance, and we galvanize. You can still do that when you get a better candidate, or one that can have a better chance of winning. If they keep losing, it'd be dumb to keep putting them in the same position. You got somebody that continue to keep missing the ball in the field. You need to put somebody that's skilled at catching the ball. Well, Johnny, he need to get a little time to play, but Johnny don't know how to catch a ball to save his life. I can just throw it right in, stand in front of him, throw it at him, he's going to drop it. His timing is off. But Jimbo over there, man, he catch more balls in a minute. That's the guy we need on the field. So if you keep getting these people who keep missing the ball or dropping the ball or fumbling the ball and letting somebody else recover, you need to get somebody to know how to handle the ball. And those same excuses that you have will still be intact. So stop trying to troll Meghan McCain, even though she's worth trolling. Stop trying to troll her. Think about what she said. If you want to win Democrats, you're going to know who gives you the power the most. And you got to do whatever you can to seriously cater toward those people. Seriously. Focus on him. It's a shame. White women didn't even go out and vote for Obama, and the first policy he pushed was a policy for white women. Now, you don't think those white women didn't go out and vote for him after that? They went and vote for him after that. Especially when he had Hillary Clinton on the team, and they thought Obama was going to groom Hillary to be the next president. If you don't start taking the black community serious and start listening, stop trying to tell us what you think, and start listening to us and let us tell you what we know and what should happen and what better happen, or we ain't going to support you. Well, then you going to your enemy ain't going. Who told you I'm going to the Republican Party? Well, you automatically could stop with that dumb mess. You look like a damn fool talking like that. Folks, I don't use the cuss word, the D word that much, but you look like a damn fool every time you come up with it. Well, you got to vote for the lesser of two evil. Well, if you don't vote Democrat, you automatically support the Republicans. Man, that's the dumbest, stupid thing. Do you listen to yourself? The only way I can support a Republican is by voting for him. Well, if you don't give us our vote, then it's a wasted vote. How is it a wasted vote? There's no such thing as a wasted vote. I mean, it may be wasted. I'm not wasting it on a Republican. I'm not wasting it on you. I may give it to Mickey Mouse. I may put down their reparations on the slot. But you got to earn my vote. It's no waste. It's still intact, sitting on the mantle, looking pretty, ready to go to the person who's going to support our agenda. So miss me with these stupid psychological attacks. And if you're talking about black men cause me to lose, I'm going to lean into it. You doggone right, because black men told you that this is what we need. And we need you to start advocating that. We told you that years ago. We told you the last time you lost. And you keep ignoring us. So if you lost, it's your fault because you ignored us. It is up to you to come up here and earn our vote. It is not us to give you a vote just because our sisters or cousins or uncle, or just because somebody black, or just because you black, or just because you're in the Democratic Party. I don't give a crap about that. I'm conservative with a liberal sprinkled on top. I hold no allegiance. It's not about left or right. It's not about Democratic or Republican. It's about what I believe. And I vote according to what I believe. I vote on faith, not fear. If you support these things, you got my vote. If you don't, I don't vote for you. It's plain and simple. And that sentiment is going to continue to grow in this country, whether, and I say that now, whether you like it or not. Whether you like it or not. Let me get out of here. I'm Bobby Brown with the Bobby Brown Show on the go. I'll holler at you later. Holler at you later. Love you. Like, share, subscribe. Peace.